This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We're in the San Fernando Valley today, and we are joined by a commissioner from the city of Calabasas, where I grew up. Her name is Candice Weber. She's also a Reserve Patrol officer with the LAPD, and I'd like to speak with you about crime and safety issues. My parents moved to Calabasas a long time ago because it's a safe community. People are moving to Calabasas because it's the metaphoric safe community. And I think it's fair to say it's still safe, but crime is spiking a bit, even in Calabasas. So talk to me about that as a commissioner, as a Reserve Patrol officer.
Well, what we're experiencing greatly is a huge uptick in residential burglaries, knock-knock burglaries, suspicious activities going on in our neighborhoods, and that's happening all over the greater Los Angeles area.
And I want to talk about that specifically because there are some criminologists who believe that the reason we're seeing an uptick in those types of crimes, those residential burglaries without violence attached, is as a result of criminal justice reform we've seen in the state. AB 109, where we sent lower level offenders from state prisons to county jails. Prop 47, where the voters passed in 2014 reclassifying lower level drug offenses from felonies to misdemeanors. We just passed 57, we don't know about that yet. But is that your sense as well?
Well, as a police officer, a commissioner, a resident, a mom,
Right.
I do believe that that does have an impact on what's going on right now. And in our community, our residents are really concerned. So we're starting this whole thing up.
What's so interesting, I want to talk about what you've started, is that I believe you. There are concerns out there, but there's almost a schizophrenia in our state, even in LA County or Calabasas, where we're concerned about crime, but yet we vote for these criminal reform measures that some believe are lax on criminals, whatever that may mean.
Well, a lot of this comes from the federal government wanting us to lessen the populations in our prison in California.
Right, well, you know that. The Supreme Court ruled that we had to decrease our prison population.
How do we do that?
Right.
These different measures are the result of that.
So the question becomes, what do you, and the reason I wanted to bring you on is Calabasas is like so many cities, kind of a nice, smaller, mid-sized city where you can get civically engaged, become involved, you're becoming involved. What does a city do? What does a resident do? I mean, in LA, they have a completely different set of issues, but you're next to LA, but you can act in a different way.
Well, because we are a small city and because it's very easy to engage with our elected officials, they're available to us all the time. So in our community, which is Saratoga Hills and Ranch, what we are doing is starting up a neighborhood watch, which we had years ago, and it kind of went by the wayside, and now we're starting it up again, and there's a lot of fervor around that.
I remember the Neighborhood Watch program was really taking off, 80s, 90s, I guess. We'd see those signs up, and it felt very empowering. I wonder, though, because I feel like we're almost in an era where we don't want to get involved. We see something, we turn around.
Well, we have a social media application
yes, we do.
in our neighborhood called Nextdoor.
Right.
So we have all these posts all the time on Nextdoor about suspicious activity, and I saw this on this street.
Can we talk about Nextdoor? I'm a member of Nextdoor in my community. I don't live in Calabasas anymore.
So
my wife gets a little spooked by what she sees on Nextdoor. Sometimes I do too.
Well, I mean, I'm a police officer, so I don't get spooked by it, but I do like having the information. And what we've done is not only we've decided that we need an email address for our neighborhood watch. And guess what we called it?
Go.
Saratoga Watch.
I like it.
One word, isn't that cool?
So my question, and I ask you specifically because you do work in law enforcement, how do you create an environment where the information is out there? So you're providing your neighbors with information and they can use that information in an effective way, not in a way that can get them hurt or get someone else hurt.
Right, right.
How can we do that?
Well, we're going to be doing it through email trees, telephone trees, block captains,
Right.
individuals. We're going to have everybody's email. It's going to be a whole way to communicate with our whole community.
Now, in the city of Los Angeles, over the last 10, 20 years, they've adopted programs whereby I think they're called senior lead officers.
Yes.
Where an officer will be assigned to a neighborhood and they'll be your point person. Now, in Calabasas, do you have your own police department or is it policed by the sheriff?
Oh, yes, we contract with the sheriff,
Okay.
LA sheriffs, and we have a deputy who is our liaison between the city and the sheriffs.
So is that an effective tool? I mean, I don't know if it's the same as senior lead.
It's not the same as senior lead.
So what can be done? I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, a small town, but...
I mean, we're also enjoying a bridge widening project right at our neighborhood as well. So I find that the sheriffs have been very responsive to me and as an individual and as the president of my HOA.
Right.
The other night, well, they come to our meetings.
They do?
Yes, and they respond to requests. So it doesn't work the same as a senior lead.
Right.
Like senior leads have meetings and
Right.
community meetings and all. They really, it's not the same, but it's okay.
So how are you working through your neighborhood watch group to create that dialogue
Well,
with
we've
law
just
enforcement?
started.
Okay, so so what's? I mean, I have a feeling you know what's going. You know, what does the future look like? And
The future
what
looks
would
good.
you say to a friend in Agoura Hills or Saratoga up north? You know, if they want to engage in a similar type of action.
Well, we have a whole network now of people that have done this. That have, like, in one of our neighborhoods called Molewood, they've started
Where I
2.5
grew
years
up.
ago.
I grew up in Molewood.
Yeah, well, do you know Marissa Feinstein?
I haven't been there in a
Anyway.
few years. Yeah.
So she's helping us.
Right.
And we'll help others. And everybody's going to be helping everybody with forms and how to do it and how to get started. Our mayor pro tem came, to one of our meetings. We have a lot of support from the city as well as the sheriffs and our own residents.
So what do you tell your neighborhood watch members to do if they see something?
We tell them to report it immediately
And how?
to the sheriff.
Right, and that's the question is, you're in that kind of unique situation where.
First report to the sheriffs, then report it to our neighborhood watch as we get it up and running.
And have you launched? I mean, are you?
No, we haven't launched.
Oh,
It's
well,
so exciting.
right.
It's very exciting because we're in the fledgling stage of that.
So if someone happens to live in Lost Hills and is watching right now, how can they get involved in your neighborhood watch program?
Please email us at saratogawatch.com.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And can they, if someone's from another neighborhood and wants to learn how to create a program like this, can they still contact you?
Of course.
Are
of
you there?
course.
You're
Yes.
available?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm glad to see that people are still getting involved and trying to keep their neighborhood safe and calm and create that mulberry
And some
feeling.
people don't want to get involved, and that's okay too.
Okay.
Because we can help protect them as well.
Her name is Candice Weber. She's a commissioner with the city of Calabasas. She is taking charge by starting a neighborhood watch program in her sub-community of Lost Hills, California. My name is Brad Pomerance in the San Fernando Valley. This is Local Edition.